Your mornings simplified. This is the Hot Talk Morning Show.
That's 7:51 on Hot Talk 99.5. On the phone with us right now, all the way from the other side of the world, a man that we've had in the studio several times, but is in Africa right now. We want to talk to Robert Johnson with the Tigers Preserve. He's off on safari right now, but is not to harm anything. It's to just document stuff. Robert, thanks for joining us today.
Hey, it's great to be here, Dave and Liz, all the way from South Africa this morning.
That's so cool, Robert. Is it warm there?
Actually, it is just warmed up. It's sunny. It's about 80 degrees right now. It is just perfect weather.
Now, you're in Africa right now, in South Africa. This is part of your annual Tigers Preserve African Safari. And I saw some of the pictures that you had sent Liz, and it's just awesome just to see some of the wildlife right there in front of you.
It is. The wildlife is actually right outside our door. The place we go is phenomenal. It is the world's greatest wildlife viewing destination. We're seeing lions and leopards and elephants and hyenas on almost a daily basis. So it's a phenomenal place, but it's a green safari. So a large portion of the money that we generate from doing these trips, it not only helps educate people and gives them a better connection to wildlife, it's supporting local conservation projects as well.
Now, what is like one of the major projects that you're working on? Is that in that area? Will the money stay in that area?
Quite a bit of the money does stay in the area. We actually are working, as many people may know, poaching is a major crisis right now in Africa, particularly elephants in South Africa. Rhinos are being poached at an alarming rate. More than 1,000 rhinos were killed just last year, so a large portion of this money goes to anti-poaching rhino projects here in South Africa. We're also supporting the local community of the people, the Shangaan people, where we're here at this preserve. We've actually helped to establish and are funding a school for their children and doing quite a few other projects around the country.
Now, with poaching, I mean, I'm assuming that they poach elephants for their tusks, for the ivory.
Right.
Okay, so what are they poaching the rhinos for? Is that also ivory?
Actually, it's their horns, which is really a phenomenal thing. Most of the rhino horns are going to Asia for traditional Chinese medicine, but the horns are actually made out of the same material, keratin, the same thing that your fingernails are made out of, which is just insanity. And the fact that rhino horn right now is fetching as much money per ounce as gold is.
Wow. And you have to kill the animal to get it.
Yeah, of course. And unfortunately, they're just they're killing the animals. They're sneaking in at night. Historically they were doing things as sophisticated because it's worth so much money. They would fly in with helicopters. They'd shoot a rhino. They'd cut its horn off and fly off. The skies in this area are being monitored much more closely. Any aircraft that flies even in any vicinity, there's photographs taken of it. So even today, people are kind of sneaking in through the fences to do this poaching.
Well, I was just going to ask you, Robert. I mean, I've seen some commercials recently as far as tiger poaching is concerned, and that's been making the rounds a lot. And obviously, we're making headway into stopping some of this with some of the great creatures that we have. But how many more species have to die out completely and become extinct before we can maybe open our eyes and stop some of this stuff totally?
Yeah, it really is a complicated thing. It's very easy for us to sit at home in America and say, we need to stop poaching. But a lot of the people, a lot of the places that this is happening are third world countries where, a lot of the people don't have enough food to eat, let alone, trying to stop poachers from doing whatever they're going to do. There's just not enough resources there to do it, which is where we step in and try and make all of that happen.
Well, it seems to me that they have to dry up the demand for such items, from the other governments, like in the Chinese government, and then there wouldn't be so much poaching, I would think. I mean, has there been any discussion between leaders or anything to outlaw having possession of ivory or the horns, or?
A lot of it is greatly outlawed, but enforcing it is very difficult. It varies from country to country. But you're right. The end consumer is the ultimate thing. If you can get them to stop using it, then obviously there's not going to be a demand for it. But that's a very complicated thing. Especially when you're talking about China, you're talking about a culture that's thousands of years old. It's not going to be an overnight thing to change those minds and opinions. One of the projects I think we mentioned last time I was there is that we're working on a project with Yao Ming in China, a big ad campaign to tell people that the elephants are actually being killed to take their ivory, trying to get them the idea. Because a lot of people, they just assume, they're just cutting the tusks off, the animal gets to live. But they really don't know the full truth of it.
Now, this trip is actually, you open this trip up to open to the public. If anybody wanted to join you, you take a certain amount of people. So you do this every November?
Every November, yep. We actually already have a trip booked, scheduled for next year. It will be over the week of Thanksgiving, and it'll be a 10-day safari, and it will be just the most incredible wildlife experience you're going to have. I mean, it's going to change the way that you view the wild world.
And if someone wanted to get information about that, who would they contact?
They can go to myrtlebeachsafari.com, and they can click on the link that says Safari, African Safari, and they can find out all the information about it. We still have quite a few spots left available for next year.
So what do you, in addition to just going there, now how long is the safari that you're going to be going on, and what are you going to be doing today? I mean, the sun's been up for you for the last 5-6 hours. I mean, what are you going to do for the rest of the day with your group?
Actually, we've already finished lunch. We're getting ready in the next 30 minutes to go out on our evening game drive. The place we're staying is the largest, oldest Big 5 game reserve in all of South Africa. There's about 33,000 acres. It's a very exclusive place. There's only about 36 guests on the entire property, and we drive out in big Land Rovers, and we see the animals in their natural habitat. Actually, right now, I'm sitting outside my room. There's a great big river behind me, the Sand River, and we just had a herd of elephants just walk right past us.
Wow,
that's awesome.
They're bush buck right behind me in the weeds there. The sky is full of birds. It's a real wild place.
Well, I saw some of the pictures, like I said, and have you or any of your fellow tourists there had a chance to any close encounters with any of the monkeys or any of the other wildlife that you might want to share here?
None of the monkeys, but actually, you know what? The other morning, we warn people that you are in the wild. Don't go up. If an animal comes into camp, don't approach it. And a herd of elephants actually came in yesterday, and they started walking up to the big cabanas, the big traditional style buildings that we're staying in. And one of the girls came out and was standing on the porch and wanted to take pictures of it. And, she's still quite a ways away, but the elephant was up there flaring its ears. It knew that it was a human, but was showing a big display of dominance, telling her that she probably should get back into her room.
Hey, Robert, was there anything, you've seen a lot of things over at the Myrtle Beach Safari, but is there anything that you've seen you'd like to take back to Myrtle Beach? Any ideas? Anything new?
You know what? We just the cultural impact that they have here and the way that they're able to live coexisting in a natural world is the number one thing that we need to take back and we need to share with other people. And that's why for us, bringing people here and letting them see this firsthand, what an awesome world it can be, it's very impactful, and it's a important part of our message and our goals.
Robert, we appreciate it. We got to run. We got less than 30 seconds left here, but we appreciate you taking time out from your African safari to give us a call. Robert Johnson with the Tigers Preserve.
Yeah, you need to come one of these times. It's awesome. So, yeah, the photos they sent were from the first 2 days. I'm videotaping the conversation, too, so you guys can see where I was sitting while I was doing this. It's really a phenomenal place.